O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. If that doesn't bring tears to your eyes and get patriotism flowing through your veins to just give you that sense of gratitude for what veterans have done for this country and what today's celebration is all about. Let's give it up one more time for Brianna Melton. What a beautiful rendition of our national anthem. My
Yes,
goodness.
her voice was soaring. Just absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
Today, we are honoring our nation's veterans, as we mentioned, and of course, the Grand Marshal for today. We have several. The Vietnam Veterans of America, number 303. This group is an incredible group. Having spoken with them several times, I've addressed them, I've met them, and these are just incredible people who have just sacrificed so much, their time in Vietnam and the service and the valor and the bravery that they exhibited on the fields in Vietnam.
Absolutely. National Vietnam War Veterans Day is observed annually, of course, on March 29th in the United States, but they are our proud Grand Marshals today, saluting the grandstand as they pass by. And you talk about, Greg, service and sacrifice. Colonel Jack Van Loan, Chapter 303. Colonel, thank you. Thank you all for your service, for your sacrifice, passing out the American flag to those who have come to line the streets of the capital city and salute our veterans today. To all of our Vietnam veterans, we heard so many over the years say, welcome home, and we certainly salute you today. My goodness.
At Memorial Park here in Columbia, there is a beautiful memorial for the Vietnam veterans. And you think of the memorial in Washington, D.C., the wall there with all of the names of the 56,000 American servicemen who lost their lives in that conflict in Southeast Asia. Their service is never forgotten, and today we are honored to give them their due.
We absolutely are. As we go through, we want you all to enjoy all the sights, all the sounds of this parade, and to really remember what it's about. The service, the sacrifice. You see so many of them reuniting with each other. Those embraces. Thank you so much. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Vietnam Veterans of America.
Just outstanding. One of the flags that you'll notice there is the flag for the POWs and MIA, those who are still, some, in captivity, if you can believe that, in Vietnam. And those around the world who wear the uniform, who have served our country, but yet remain in captivity. POW, MIA, recognizing and remembering them today and every day.
Absolutely. American Legion Post 90 from South Congaree rolling through the parade route. And Greg, as we talk about our Grand Marshal, the Vietnam veterans, honoring their service and their sacrifice, we're also, of course, recognizing the 50th anniversary of the U.S. troop withdrawal from Vietnam in March of 1973. So another reason why they were chosen as our Grand Marshal this year, and so many people coming along the parade route, shaking the hands of our veterans, letting them know how much we appreciate all they have given in service to our country.
Indeed, 5 decades, 50 years since the end of that conflict. However, you know, the memory is still very fresh for anyone who served and for family members that service never forgotten. But again, 50 years to commemorate that, the final withdrawal from Vietnam, a conflict that lasted over 10 years.
Also, a salute to Cairo Temple 125. Always great to see them in our Veterans Day parade. So instrumental in our community and the service that they offer.
We also have Special Forces Chapter 34 as well. And of course, as we mentioned, we are bringing you the sights and sounds of the Veterans Day Parade. And we will take little breaks here and there so you can just get a little bit of the flavor, the pomp and circumstance of these bands making their way down Sumter Street.
Let's take a listen to the 282nd Army Band from Fort Jackson.
You've got to hand it to that 282nd band. They sound absolutely fantastic today.
They do indeed. And Greg, I haven't seen the concert schedule yet, but they usually perform, especially during this time of year. It's so great to see them perform in person. Just an incredible ensemble. And I mean, if that doesn't get your blood flowing, I don't know what will.
When you talk about Fort Jackson, too, if you've ever been on that installation, it's the Army's largest training installation in the country. It is absolutely staggering to see how many trainees they have there at a certain given time. Having been on that base and having seen the formations and just the way that they conduct and carry themselves, it is awesome. It is fantastic. One of the events that they do every year is for the Special Olympics opening ceremonies.
Yes.
Those trainees pack the Solomon Center, and that place is rocking.
It is, it is. We just saw more than 300 of the basic trainees from the installation here, so that's the next generation coming through. Our Vietnam veterans and so many others have paved the way. Now our Fort Jackson schools. Let's give it up for the Fort Jackson schools. You guys look good in your red, white, and blue. Absolutely beautiful. A lot of people are surprised to learn that they have schools on post at Fort Jackson. It really is a community within itself. And of course, we have such a strong connection with our military community, but the whole family serves when a soldier or any military member decides to give service to this country. So we thank all of our military spouses, all of the military kids for the sacrifice, the dedication, everything that they give every single day.
All right, coming into the intersection right now at Washington and Sumter, it's the Columbia Mayor, Daniel Rickenmann. And it looks like he's driving a Willie. Those are what those are called. Looking good.
All right. We actually got 10 vehicles as a part of this next part of our parade. The American Heritage Foundation. You guys look spectacular.
Oh, it's a perfect day to have the top down, too.
Boy, and the kids out here get an up-close look at these military vehicles.
Look at this.
Making history come alive.
Yeah, 1942 World War II half-track.
Yes.
So it's got wheels on the front and tank tracks on the back.
Part of the
Looking
American
good up
Heritage
there.
Foundation.
Looking good. Yes, we see you. Awesome.
And Greg, you mentioned earlier POWs, MIA soldiers, and we see that flag, unmistakable, flying on our next unit coming through.
The insignia at the bottom saying, "You are not forgotten."
Never forgotten.
Anytime you see that flag, lift a prayer for those who are missing in action, prisoners of war.
Honoring our Doolittle Raiders.
Right.
We've covered them extensively on WIS. What an incredible story they have to share. Our K-9's out too.
Looking good.
He's
sitting right next to that bale of hay there. Looking good. Congressman Joe Wilson joining us.
Wilson, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, sir. Up next, we have the military timeline impressions, and it looks like they're driving a Humvee, one of the vehicles that you often see on the battlefield. Those Hummers mean business, I tell you. They got the decent sized tires on them, too.
They do indeed. Honoring our war dogs as well. There's actually a South Carolina War Dog Monument. Wow.
Yeah, those canines that join our military members in service.
Thank you so much. You can find out more at wardogwall.com.
I would assume that some of those
Absolutely.
dogs are also therapy dogs who are able to provide support to our military members. And, you know, when you talk about just the love and the compassion that an animal can bring, it is an incredible outreach group.
Exactly. We've got our officers with the City of Columbia Police Department.
Looking
Thank you for
good.
your service as well, led by Chief Holbrook today. Thank you, Chief. Out shaking hands with the veterans. I thought I saw him out in the middle of the road, and the next thing I knew, he was over in the grandstand shaking hands, thanking our veterans for their service, what we see him do frequently. And a lot of our veterans serve with our Columbia Police Department and our Columbia Fire Department.
Columbia Fire here
Fire
as
Chief
well.
Aubrey Jenkins out on the parade route with us today.
Looking great. And, you know, when you talk about not only the service of our military members, but the service of first responders,
Yes.
those who are willing to run into dangerous situations, not running away from it, but saving lives, putting their own lives on the line in service to others, we honor you today. Thank you so much for all that you do for our community, both Columbia Fire, Columbia Police Department. Thank you very much. Just an outstanding job day in, day out in this community. Good
Thank
to see you,
Chief
Chief Jenkins.
Up next, we see the Red Hawk Battalion from Westwood High School out of Blythewood, South Carolina. Boy, do they look sharp.
They do. They're looking great. We have 80 walkers and perfect formation, looking great. Suits nice and starched, I will say.
The Red Hawk Battalion is commanded by Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Giselle Stansbury and Cadet Command Sergeant Major Tia Whitted, the Westwood Army High School JROTC. They are leaders in the classroom, leaders on campus, and leaders in the community. And boy, do you guys look sharp today. The next generation, you guys, marching through, ready to stand up and serve our community.
Well, next here we have the American Gold Star Mothers afloat with 3 walkers as they honor their loved ones who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Our hearts are with you today.
Is that Tia?
It is.
We're thinking about our sweet Justice.
Yes.
Our sweet Justice and all of our other Gold Star moms. Tia, thank you for your service and all that you were doing. It says, I always knew I was meant to be greater, more than average. And of course, no one ever wants to know what it really means to be a Gold Star mother, but when you talk about the ultimate sacrifice and the way that those Gold Star mothers stand in the gap,
Yes. So
we have an obligation to support them in every way that we can.
That's right. Community wrapping their arms around them and lifting them up and remembering the service and the sacrifice of those who have.
This is the Brooklyn Casey High School JROTC, a highly trained Army JROTC unit from the east side of Casey. 88 of the finest all-star cadets on this side of the Mississippi.
Behind them, we have the Richland County Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Leon Lott leading the group.
Sheriff Lott got on his camo hat today,
Yeah,
representing
looking
his
good.
service as well.
May recognize some of them from Live PD and whatnot.
Absolutely. And a lot of them serve in our reserves
Yes.
and in the National Guard, so they serve in more ways than one. So many ways in our community.
Now that is an impressive vehicle here.
It
looks
really
like a
is. It
tactical
really
vehicle of
is.
some sort, but wow. just impressive as it. Well, we got some girls up there just enjoying the ride. They enjoy the vantage point from up there. Hatch open. Next up, we have the Richland County Coroner's Office. Coroner Nada Rutherford.
The Richland County Coroner's Office is available to serve you following, of course, the death of loved ones. You certainly don't wish that upon anyone, but when those unfortunate instances occur, the Coroner's Office is ready to engage in so many ways to provide so much support, also to just raise community awareness. Prevention is such a key of this Coroner's Office, and raising up the next generation to get them interested in fields of science and ways that they can be of service to their community.
Yeah, I was seeing a report recently that says that there are lots of opportunities in forensics, and so that is definitely an emerging field. And the Richland County Coroner's Office on the cutting edge of that.
And you know, before we move to our next Navy JROTC unit, I've also got to mention, you know, Sheriff Lott, when he came through with the Richland County Sheriff's Office, is commander of our South Carolina State Guard. So,
Okay.
you know, that service
Yes.
makes all the difference. We got our Navy JROTC. All right, Eau Claire, we see you, Eau Claire High School, listening to the cadence as they call it out. The mighty Shamrocks celebrating 50 years of honor, courage, and commitment. Let's go, Shamrocks!
Yeah, I give them credit for being able to repeat. That is pretty nuanced there. That is pretty good. Next up here, we have the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Chapter 402. Those who have been wounded in combat, they are definitely remembered today, and we thank them for their valor.
A lot of people may have seen the Comet Purple Heart bus that travels throughout the city, and you may not know Columbia is a Purple Heart city. So just a very special honor, a very special designation, and one of the things that makes us one of the most military-friendly communities in the country, in the world, really. Thank you so much to our Military Order of the Purple Heart for being here with us today, especially our combat wounded veterans. You know, we have a special guest here. We have Fort Jackson, from the Fort Jackson Drill Sergeant Academy, Commandant Ricky Jackson. Ricky, can you step on over? Appreciate you being here with us.
Welcome.
Welcome to the parade. What do you think about the sights and sounds that you've seen so far?
This is amazing. The city of Columbia has always done well, and to see our service from our young folks to folks that are past and present that are here that give back to our country, it's amazing.
What can you tell us about the Drill Sergeant Academy out at Fort Jackson? How tough is it to make it through?
Well, our course is pretty tough, but it prepares drill sergeants to train our America's newest soldiers. As we say, we train America's soldiers at Fort Jackson, and we do a really good job. We have the best drill sergeants in the world.
And when you look at these ROTC units coming through, this is from Ridgeview High School. They have a great program they did just this week honoring our veterans. What kind of hope does that give you about the next generation?
It's great hope. We're partnered with the city of Columbia, and we're in most of the GROTC school programs, and I say the future is bright.
The future is bright indeed. Thank you for your service.
Thank you much.
We appreciate you being here with us today. I mean, you know, it just gives me goosebumps, Greg, when you see the service, the dedication, the commitment, and all that they invest, that they invest on behalf of all of us in this community, but in this country. It is an incredible gift.
You can tell that Commandant Jackson saw some potential out there, perhaps. You know, maybe there will be some in his ranks before too long. You never know.
Our 92nd Buffalo chapter. Yes, we love
Looking
you guys.
good.
Over out of West Columbia.
There you go.
That's our 92nd Buffalo chapter of our Disabled American Veterans, keeping the promise to American veterans since 1951.
Now, through its members, they uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution for the betterment of all wounded and injured and disabled veterans. And just an incredible group. When you talk about the wounds that some suffer in battle, that organization is there to help them every step of the way beyond it. So hats off to them and just for all they do.
Absolutely.
Well, up next here is a group that we recognize. Looking good out there, WIS News 10. How are you? All right. Of course, we are United for Veterans, a program that we do, an initiative that we are very proud to support because we stand behind our veterans in our community. But Judy, I got to say, the group is looking good today.
Yes, WIS 10 representing. Great to see Rick Henry out,
That's
our
right.
general manager. Where's Robbie? Yeah, there he is.
Good to see you.
That's
Madeline
Robbie.
Stewart,
I
Olivia,
see
how are you?
Olivia. Great to see you guys.
Jessica, what's
Greg,
going
better
on?
look. Robbie's getting a
Hey,
picture.
how are you? Good to see you, Robbie.
Listen, our
awesome.
United for
Intisar,
Veterans-
what's going on? Hi, Tiffany.
Hi,
how goes
Tiffany.
it?
But listen, our station has a genuine heart and commitment for our Veterans Day, not just this parade,
That's
but
right.
veterans coverage throughout the year, and a number of veterans in our station. Great to see you guys.
Yeah, we got a couple of our managers there. We got Brad and Matt. Looking good. All right, Sierra.
Charles Lynn,
There you
our
go.
marketing director, is a veteran who proudly served. We thank Charles for his service. And one of our proudest projects, I think, as a part of the United Veterans Campaign, was helping to raise money for the Fisher House
Yes.
that is now open on the campus of the VA Medical Center. And we have to thank every single viewer who donated and supported that effort. It is because of you that house is open today. Ms. Donnell Baker is a treasure. She helped lead that initiative. Also, our CASA, civilian
Yep.
aide to the Secretary of Army, Kevin Schweda, who also runs the Department of Motor Vehicles. But too many people to name, but they've all been instrumental in making the Fisher House here in Columbia a reality. We've got another marching band moving through. We want you
Yeah,
guys
this-
to enjoy it as much as we do. Let's take a listen to the marching band, the Mighty Falcons from AC Flora High School.
All right, we see you, Flora. Looking good. And right behind them is the JROTC of AC Flora.
Absolutely, they are. Got the drill team out here again today, along with the color guard. They're one of the staples in this parade each and every year. And while that Mighty Falcon Battalion is marching through, I want to invite Melissa Solomon, the Deputy Commandant of the Fort Jackson Drill Sergeants Academy, to step up and talk with me. So glad to see you here today. Let me start by thanking you for your service. As you look at these young men and women out here today, and the purpose and the commitment, the duty, the respect, what's running through your mind?
It comes back to our family traditions and values. Women have had positive influences in their lives. Want to be a part of a JROTC within their organizations, within their high schools.
Absolutely. And I think about, the way the role of women has changed in our military over the years. And look at you, the Deputy Commandant out there. What do you say to other young women who aspire to follow in your footsteps?
I think that they can do anything and achieve anything that they put their mind to. I think we've made leaps and bounds in what we look at within our military organizations to ensure we have representation across whether it's race, whether it's gender, and the only thing that will stop them from achieving their goals will be them.
What inspired you to serve?
Honestly, initially, it was for college tuition.
Yeah.
But it wasn't what inspired me to stay, man. What inspired me to stay was serving alongside all of my brothers and sisters and being a part of something that was truly larger than myself.
It means the world to us, and I know it means a lot to you. Thank you so much for your time and for your service. Enjoy the rest of the parade. Greg, it doesn't get better than that.
No, it does not. She talks about values, and, values need to be defended. And she's certainly doing that, the values of honor and dignity and service. And as she said, serving something greater than herself
Greater than
has
yourself.
provided her such meaning and such purpose. And we thank her for her service.
We do
Awesome.
indeed. Let's hear it for the Blythewood High School, JROTC, looking sharp out here. And Greg, while a lot of these young ROTC students may go on to serve, Not all of them do. It really is more of a leadership program. And some of them might go on to our military academies, some of them pursue other careers. I know so many of those programs, though, they instill a discipline, they instill values about leadership and respect that they set them up for success in whatever it is that they decide they want to do.
That's such a great point. Because, after all, it's those things that they're going to carry with them far beyond even their high school days, into their business lives, into their families.
Yes.
Just some incredible skills that they're learning in JROTC.
Let's hear it for our Marine Corps League. Toys for Tots is a program that has had a tremendous impact over the years. Semper Fi to all of our Marine Corps veterans who are joining us for today's parade. Thank you for all that you do for our community.
We have the 108th Division Training Command veterans as well, making their way through with 3 vehicles today.
Wow.
And we have the Dutch Fork High School AF JROTC. And this is a group of 60 walkers, and they're looking good in their blue suits.
And even though Veterans Day is tomorrow, we have to mention, especially with the Marine Corps just following through, the formal commemoration of the birthday of the Marine Corps began on November 10th of 1921. That day was chosen because on that day, the Second Continental Congress resolved in 1775 to raise 2 battalions of Continental Marines. So until 1921, the birthday of the Corps had actually been celebrated another day. So happy birthday to our Marine Corps veterans as well.
2 birthdays.
Yeah, how
That's
about
kind of
that?
neat.
That's nice, isn't it?
And for those who have served as Marines, it is a badge of honor. So many get in to that specific branch of military service because of I would just say, the atmosphere and the honor that is associated with being a U.S. Marine.
Absolutely. My cousin is a U.S. Marine, so if he's watching, Harlteen Stamps Jr., thank you for your service. I love you. Airborne! All right. Looking great.
Looking
thank you for your
good.
service.
Yes. Judy, when I see Airborne and I see Purple Heart, I think of my grandfather.
Oh, my
Served in
goodness.
World War II.
Wow.
He was airborne and received the Purple Heart for being a paratrooper.
What about that family legacy? is
Injured,
strong.
yeah.
That family
Injured
legacy is
jumping
strong.
out of a plane, believe it or not.
She's the veteran. Looking good, ladies.
Yes.
Every woman on that float is a United States veteran. And that's what they're chanting. She's the veteran. She's the veteran.
Yes, indeed.
Brooke Jackson is the executive director. Bernice Jordan, also a part of that outstanding event. And we have more of the Gold Star Wives of America coming through.
Yeah, it's quite a motorcycle and playing some green onions as well. Sounding good, looking good out there.
As we see the Palmetto chapter of the Gold Star Wives moving through the parade, we give them a special salute. They look beautiful on this day, and my goodness, the way they have stood in the gap. It says, united we stand to win, divided we fall and are forgotten, but we will never forget. Greg, we've got another special guest with us. General Kelly, the commanding
Yes.
general of Fort Jackson. General Kelly, first of all, thank you for your service. It's great to see you as always.
Thank you, Judy.
I see the way that you're interacting with the veterans who are in the grandstand, these young ROTC cadets that are passing through. Just tell me what you're thinking on days like this.
So this celebration is really special. It is a gathering of those that have lived uncommon lives under a common banner. Love of country, service, and what's really exciting for me is to see the young people here witness how we treat our veterans because they are watching. They are prospects. They are those who I will pass the baton to, and this service will continue. So today, to see us in celebration is unbelievably exciting for me.
I know it is, and I know how much you love connecting with the youth. What is it that you share with them about what inspired you to serve and the things that they should think about, whether it's in military service or not, about how they can be of service to our country?
I think the freedom that we enjoy, it's fragile. And we have to work for it, we have to sustain it. And it's not just us. The adults that have carried the banner, we're celebrating vets from all wars, those that have served. I like to talk to them about how we need them to put their shoulder to the wheel, to be a part of what we're doing so that this freedom that we enjoy, why America is so great, that it continues.
And talk to me about the mission out at Fort Jackson. We had more than 300 basic trainees who marched through this parade route today. I mean, you have an incredible mission on behalf of our Army. Talk to us about how you're meeting that mission right now.
Fort Jackson is impactful. More than half of our Army begins its journey at Fort Jackson. This past week, we graduated in excess of 12,000 new soldiers. Correction, 1,200 new soldiers. 45,000 come through annually. And when you think about Fort Jackson, this community, the unbelievable support that we receive, I couldn't be happier with what's happening around me and grateful to be a part of it.
General Kelly,
Kelly, wow.
I was going to say, I remember you out at the opening ceremonies for Special Olympics, and you definitely bring an enthusiasm to that role. And they get fired up there on that base. I tell you, you guys have a good time out there as well.
No, it's a good thing. I always tell folks I'm a low energy guy.
Yeah, right.
No, I do. I love what I do. I love getting up in the morning, putting this uniform on,
Yeah.
and I hope that it shows. And I want more to come and be a part of what we're doing because we need it. It's an amazing place to be.
General Kelly, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do. And I tell you what, when you talk about graduation ceremonies out there, if people have not been to a graduation ceremony at Fort Jackson, you want to get pumped up, you want to get hyped and know what our military community is doing and what that service is all about. They need to go and check out one of those
Every
graduations.
Thursday, 9 o'clock.
Every Thursday,
Every
9
Thursday.
o'clock. Thank you, General Kelly. We appreciate it.
Plenty more from the 45th Veterans Day Parade here in downtown Columbia when we come right back.
Let's hear it for the Spring Valley High School JROTC. Looking great, Spring Valley. From its 21 state championships and 9-time national championships in drill competition, Spring Valley JROTC has been a model of excellence for years.
The 120-member Corps of Cadets is comprised of members that represent a cross-section of service, social, academics, and sports campus organizations.
Outstanding. Brandishing the Air Force core value of service before self. Since 2020, the student-led organization has served more than 3,500 hours across the Midlands. We're about to go back on air on WIS, so when Greg and I give you guys the cue, we need to have some big cheers for our veterans. Stand by, everybody. Welcome back to the 45th Veterans Day Parade here in our capital city of South Carolina, one of the largest Veterans Day parades in the Southeast. Everybody out on the streets here at Washington and Sumter, let's hear it for our veterans.
It's been a fantastic morning so far with all of these groups, and just the atmosphere out here, Judy, is something else. It is really beyond words. And when you talk about one of the groups that we didn't get to earlier, it's the PTSD Veterans Village that came through here.
So important.
Incredibly important, a group that's working to help servicemen and women who are battling post-traumatic stress disorder, a very real thing among our veterans. They come alongside them and assist them in ways that really we can't even quantify. And so we thank them for their service.
We do indeed. We want to salute the W.J. Keenan High School ROTC. Another sharp unit marching in Army formation today. And when you talk about the ideals, Greg, of these units, it's all about leadership, discipline, respect, service. Community service is a huge component, a huge part of what those programs are all about.
One thing we had heard just a short time ago was about some of those values that were instilled in servicemen and women, even at a young age.
Yes.
You know, those are the things that are foundational. Those are things that are built upon. And it's just amazing to wonder even how they'll grow and how
I
that
know.
will play out in their everyday lives as they grow into adults.
Absolutely. We also want to salute the Woodrow Wilson Chapter 4 of Disabled American Veterans, the Chapter 4 Commander, Monica Lamb, Unit 4 Commander, Jackie Gray.
Chapter 4 was established on the 2nd of November, 1931. Has a total of 1,055 members, and it's the third oldest DAV chapter in South Carolina. The 92-year-old chapter has one purpose: support the veterans and their families, and that is a mission that we can all get behind.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. As they roll through, I want to invite, Greg, another guest to join us, Councilwoman Oddity Bustles.
Hey!
Of course, everybody knows her by serving on Columbia City Council, but what they may not know is that she's also an Army veteran spouse.
Yes.
Good to see you.
I'm very happy to be here and to be able to support all the veterans that live in our community. And
Tell us about our little soldier.
Yeah.
this is little Bodie. My husband served in the U.S. Army, and we actually met while he was stationed at Walter Reed.
Wow.
And I'm just, getting him acquainted young, because
Yeah.
if he does join the military, it's going to be the Army.
Well, listen, the camo looks good on him. Hooah, hooah. Oh, when you talk about, we talked when we opened up the parade about our capital city in this region being known as one of the most military-friendly communities in the world. What does that mean to us in terms of our viability, the quality of life here?
I mean, to be known that is an honor. I think that military families are the fabric of our community. They really offer a lot, whether it's in terms of diversity or economic impact or even just increasing
Sacrifice, but certainly it's something that you really appreciate over time, just the sacrifice of your spouse. And so talk to us a little bit about that journey for you. How long have you been married, and what it's entailed as a military spouse?
I mean, even today on Veterans Day, he is working in the ER at
Yeah.
MUSC. I think the work ethic and the dedication and the sacrifice is such an inspiration, and it's values that I hold close to my heart as well as I serve and represent this city. It's especially tough. Only other military spouses can truly understand, but I think that we have a really great, strong community here to support us.
Well, thank you both for your service, and thank you for just bringing some sunshine to the day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Greg, we just had C.A. Johnson move through the parade route. Man, they have a spectacular band. They got an ensemble here today, but baby, if you ever see them perform, honoring the fallen, we got our roller skater out there, but I mean, some of these high school bands are just absolutely spectacular.
They are. They're outstanding. And I got to say, some outstanding skill there
Yes.
from that roller skater. Doing the backwards moves. Man, oh man, that takes you back to the old skating parties. Look, we got another
Absolutely.
one here.
We do. And I'm going to drop a little history in our Veterans Day Parade as well, because we saw C.A. Johnson High School just move through. They were one of 3 original black high schools in Columbia, and C.A. Johnson, out of those 3, is the only one that is still in operation today. And that band recently actually performed at Benedict's homecoming parade. Good luck, by the way, to our Benedict College Tigers competing for a championship, undefeated. Let me get
That's
that
right.
Undefeated Benedict College Tigers
And-
competing this weekend.
And Judy, if I'm not mistaken, are they trying to go back to back?
Back to back,
Back to
baby.
back.
Back to back.
That's right. They won it last year and looking to repeat performance.
So we were talking about the roller skaters. That was Torrey Clark. They're called the American Jam Skaters.
They're jamming.
The Jam Skaters. They're rocking it.
Yeah, they performed at Fort Jackson from 04 to 07.
Yes.
And Army Entertainment in 2009 at the Army Soldier Show. So they've been at this a while.
They
That
have,
explains
they
some of
have,
the
they
skills.
have.
Yes.
Yes. Shout out also to WJB Dorn VAMC, our veteran women's program. They actually had a veterans ceremony over at the VA on yesterday. So we just can't thank them enough for all we do. We talked a little earlier about the Fisher House over there and how it's so nice to have that on the campus now. But women's veterans, that's actually right now, Greg, the fastest growing demographic in the veteran population.
Indeed, indeed. Here we have also the Vet Center that offers connection, camaraderie, and community, as it says, a part of the VA, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Looks like a mobile unit here where they will go and offer all sorts of resources and connections for veterans. You know, you really can't do enough when you talk about supporting those who have served, those who have,
Absolutely.
placed their lives on the line. And so the Vet Center doing that and much more.
Yeah, and to give you some context about how important their mission is, the Columbia VA healthcare system has more than 14,000 women veterans, but they've got to care for more than 36,000 in our area. They do, as you saw the unit move through, they offer 3D mammography on site. So they have a huge mission over there, and they're working every day to meet those challenges. We've got the PWC Veterans Affinity Network. They want the community to know that PWC is here and that they are veteran supporters.
Yeah, they're looking to engage in other veterans events in Columbia, and they have a Veterans Affinity Network throughout the organization. And so, looking to get involved and do a lot of great work on behalf of veterans. The commander there looks like John Cruz. He says, a disabled American veteran.
We want to thank you all for watching on WIS TV, those of you who are joining us online on WISTV.com, all of our platforms, and especially all of you who came out on this beautiful Carolina day to be here in person, to salute our veterans, to show them how much we love and appreciate them, especially our Vietnam veterans who are the grand marshal of this year's Veterans Day Parade.
A special group and a strong organization here in the city of Columbia. They are very special with just the camaraderie that they have, that they enjoy, and their service to our nation is something we definitely do not overlook. The Native American group here as well.
Honoring Native American History Month. So much rich culture. Thrilled to
Very much
have you
so.
all. Appreciate you being a part of this special celebration today. Decked out in the red, white, and blue. Celebration of heritage and culture. The American Indian Center of South Carolina has sponsored the unit that just moved through for more than 25 years now, Greg, and it consists of Native American Indian people from across our state of South Carolina. Native Americans, of course, serve in the armed forces at
Wow.
5 times the national average. A lot of people may not know that.
No.
That is an impressive statistic, though.
It is. They have served with distinction in every major conflict over the past 200 years in the history of our nation. Their contributions recognized today.
Zai Seda. Oh, they were jamming. I saw you, ladies. I see you, ladies.
Yeah.
Zai Zeta Phi Military Sorority, proving that sisterhood and support to all military servicewomen who have served and their families. Joy C. McClendon is the founder.
Yeah, that organization, 4 years old, and looks like they're enjoying their time today. Just kind of jamming there.
Greg, we have another special guest with us today. It is General Harder with the 81st Readiness Division. General Harder, great to see you. Thank you for being here. Happy Veterans Day.
Well, happy Veterans Day to you, and thanks for being out here and broadcasting all these great veterans and these heroes today.
Listen, there's nothing more important than what we do than to support our veterans. We have a program at WYS called United for Veterans where we've worked to do everything from help to renovate homes to help open the Fisher House in our community. How do you feel when you see this kind of support in a community for the men and women who serve?
Well, it's fantastic. I mean, this community so supports soldiers and veterans and all service members. It's awesome being stationed here. I command the Army Reserve's 81st Readiness Division right here at Fort Jackson. And, we're represented by reserve soldiers and also they're members of the community. One of my first sergeants, one of my NCOs is in my formation, just drove by in a sheriff's deputy car because he
Wow.
also serves as a law enforcement member here in the community. So it's fantastic the way See Columbia comes out and honors its veterans.
Yeah, when you talk about a readiness division, the importance of being ready, especially when we see some of the conflicts going on around the world, it takes on a new meaning and new importance, especially in this day and age.
Boy, you're not kidding. I tell my soldiers all the time, September 10th, 2001 was just another day. So we live every day to be ready to train and to follow the legacy of the awesome veterans that we're honoring here today, that we're ready.
We look at the veterans coming through this parade. We see the disabled American veterans. We see our Purple Heart veterans. When you talk about the commitment to service and sacrifice, what message is it that you have for young people who might consider wanting to serve our country in this way one day?
Well, that it's a fantastic to live a life of purpose, right? And you see all these veterans out here. You could ask every one of them, and they're so thankful that they've served. I've never met a veteran, regardless of what their service was, how catastrophic their injury, that says they weren't proud to raise your right hand. So I would tell the young people of today, if you want to live a life of purpose, we got a spot for you in the United States Army, the United States military.
Can't say it much better than
I was
that.
going to say, you got me ready to sign up, too.
We got a spot.
Well,
Sign a waiver.
I love my veteran, too. He's watching from at home. He's on the injured reserve list today, but I got to give a shout out to my retired Lieutenant Colonel Dwayne Gatson for his service.
Yes.
But General Harder, when we think about what the connection our community have, Columbia and the Midlands region, to Fort Jackson, to all of our military installations, it's just that indestructible bond. How much does that mean to the support of military families?
Well, I think, my wife is out here with me. We're supporting the way the Army Reserve is integrated in communities, the way Columbia reaches out to families. A soldier can't serve today without the support of their family member. It's just too demanding. The family's got to be all in. The family serves, as you know.
Yes.
Dwayne has been in my headquarters.
Yes,
I know that young man. And so the family's got to be all in. So it's awesome to see them out here. They serve just as much as we do. We couldn't do it without the support of our family members.
Yeah,
Absolutely
between
right.
not only the family and the community, all these groups coming together to truly support veterans, it's inspiring to see.
It is. General Harder, thank you so much for your service, and thank your wife for us, too.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
for
we
what you're doing
appreciate
out
it.
here. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I tell you what, if you don't have an appreciation
Yeah.
for those who serve, for the commitment that they make to be ready whenever the call comes, for the commitment that their families make, even their kids. We have those reunion videos on WIS. Oh my gosh, I wish I could
Oh, yeah.
remember their name, but there was one recently where they called him into the room. He didn't
Yes.
realize his mom had come back,
Yes.
and the way he hugged his mama, knowing that she had been deployed and that she came back to surprise him, it gives me goosebumps all over.
Yes.
And we just love and appreciate you so much for all you do.
Yeah, those deployments take a toll on a family, and
They
so
do.
when they're able to reunite, grab the tissues, because it's always fantastic to see. Again, the comment that was made, talking about readiness and preparedness and training
Yes.
and vigilance, all of those things making such a difference in a dangerous world. And he brought up the point about September 10th, 2001. That's the day before so much went wrong, but being ready is so important.
Absolutely. Let's take a listen to the Lower Richland Marching Brigadier Band.
Lower Richland High School sounding great. They're followed by their JROTC group. The the Diamond Battalion.
Aren't they sharp?
They are 90 walkers in this group. That's one of the largest JROTC groups that we've seen so far today.
You know what? And the kids, they learn so much from it. When you talk about that, they show up at community service events. They learn about leadership. They learn about
Yep.
service. They learn about sacrifice. You know, something that I feel like sometimes feel like it might be getting lost in the next generation. But these kids know what that's all about. We have another special guest for
We
us
do.
joining us. A lot of people know him as the sheriff of the Richland County Sheriff's Department, of course, but he's also the commander of the South Carolina State Guard. Sheriff Flatt, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's a great day for America and a great day in Columbia, South Carolina. This is the best parade ever right here.
It really is. I saw you beaming from ear to ear when you were leading your unit down as a part of this parade. You have a lot of veterans who serve with you every single day.
And that's just a small percentage that was out here today. But yeah, we have a lot of veterans. Fort Jackson's been great with us. One of the best recruiting places we've got. When they transition from Fort Jackson, they come right to the Sheriff's Department.
It's not a far drive there. Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah.
And let me tell you, they're trained, ready, and hit the ground running too.
We've been talking with all of our guests today, some of the commanders out at Fort Jackson and otherwise, about what inspired them to serve, because it has to take something in particular that inspires you to want to wear the uniform of the United States of America. What has inspired your commitment to service?
Well, it started with my father. My father, Sergeant First Class in the Army, and I grew up in a military family, and just watching him and having that flag flown outside of our house every day and following his footsteps. So I do it in honor of my dad.
Sheriff Lott, talk about some of the dangers that are faced, not only for veterans or those who have served, but for local law enforcement and for those first responders who are on the scenes and who run into these situations where other people might be running away. That danger exists every single day on the
But
front
we
lines.
know that when we raise our right hand and take that oath to defend the state and our Constitution of the United States, that's what we do. And we understand that when we put that uniform on, and that shows the dedication, commitment, and love that each one of those that wear that uniform have for Richland County, for the state, for the nation.
Almost every time you and I talk, we talk about some of the challenges that our youth are facing today. What are some of the principles? They don't necessarily have to serve in the military, but that they can learn from our veterans about those principles that help you to be a part of solutions in your community, to contribute to the best part of our community. What are some of the important lessons that our youth can learn from our veterans?
Well, just look at a veteran and what they stand for, and the commitment they made, but the decision making they make. Making great decisions. Our military is put in a position where they have to defend this country, and the decisions they make. Our young people need to learn how to make good decisions. I wish all of them would join the military.
Well,
We
we're
wouldn't
looking
have a
at the
problem.
South Carolina Youth Challenge Academy passing before us right now. One of the goals that they're working on, good decision making, placing a value on your future, your potential, and what you can contribute to your community.
All these young people have the potential to be anything they want to be. And they just have to go out and find it and positive. And that's what we need to do as a community, is give them that opportunity. We always heard it takes a village to raise a child. We're all that village. And we need to take advantage every single day of helping a young person out.
Yeah, so many of these groups here offering that positive environment where these values can be taught. You really can't quantify what that means to these kids, because they're learning it at such I would say, an impressionable age, but they will learn young.
They will learn, but they need to have great role models, and that's all of us. Those who wear the uniform, and even those who don't wear the uniform, be a role model to a young person. You can save a life.
Sheriff Lott, thank you so much. I think the sign out there says it all. Thank you for your service. We appreciate you and everybody who's a part of the Richland County Sheriff's Department, everybody who has worn a military uniform to serve our country. Thank you so much.
Great day to be American.
It is indeed.
bet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amen. All right, always good to see the sheriff out here.
It is. We got Trail Life. Thank you, guys. You guys look great. I love the red, white, and blue. Looks like we got some Boy Scouts out there, too. Oh, she just ran and jumped in his arms. Now, that is the picture of the day. Oh, my goodness. I don't know if you guys can see on TV what we're seeing. We got a whole crew out here from WIS trying to capture every angle for you guys to give you the best shots of this parade. But she saw somebody she loved, and she jumped right in his arms. That was a beautiful, beautiful sight to see.
Just incredibly special, some of these some of these groups. It's nice seeing all the families out here today as
I
well,
know,
bringing
yes.
the entire family and kids. One of the points that was made a little earlier on, Judy, to the idea that kids are watching this. They're
They
seeing
are.
how service is recognized and how these values that we've talked about pretty much throughout this broadcast, that those things are celebrated, they're commendable, and they're worthy to be honored.
They are indeed. And we can talk to our kids all day long about what's
Yeah.
important, but the way they learn
Yeah.
about what's really important is what they see us do.
Yes.
That's what informs the decisions that they make. And so the more they see us doing, we can do less talking. We just need to do more doing,
True.
more action. We've got our friends from Dominion Energy walking in the parade today. Thank you all so much. They have a tremendous commitment to hiring veterans, which is so important because
Yes.
a lot of times when military members transition from active duty into retirement, sometimes it's not quite clear exactly how all of those skills, incredibly valuable skills, but how they transition into civilian life. And Dominion Energy has set up a whole team to make sure that they understand how that skill set lines up. Because when you have somebody like a veteran who knows how to solve problems, who shows up every day, all day, who's ready to do the job and ready to reach mission accomplishment, you can teach them all the other stuff.
That's right.
But when you have somebody who has that kind of commitment instilled in them, there's not a better person that you can bring into your organization.
Tremendous skills on the job. They make great entrepreneurs as well. Lots more coverage from out here at the 45th Annual Veterans Day Parade here in the city of Columbia. We'll be right back here on WIS.
Everybody sing.
.3 The Dude coming
Thanks, The
through
Dude.
here. And we have Columbia's Praise. I see you. What's going on, my man? You all right? Yes, good to
Columbia's
see you.
Praise Team.
Yes.
95.7, 1170 a.m.
I was
Thanks
on
for
his
rocking
morning
with us.
show a while back. We had a great time just talking things of faith, and it was great. Columbia's Praise.
Broadcasting live from downtown Columbia, welcome to the 45th Veterans Day Parade from the Midlands, known as the most military-friendly community in the United States of America. I'm Judy Gatson along with Greg Adeline. And Greg, what a beautiful day to salute our veterans.
Indeed. We love our veterans, and today that love has been on display all morning long. As we work our way into the afternoon, all of these groups getting the recognition, the support, and the love that they deserve one day ahead of Veterans Day, as we take time to reflect and think about all of the service, all of the sacrifice, and all that our veterans mean to not only raise our quality of life, but also just to give us a tremendous example of what service and sacrifice means and the value of it.
Absolutely. Joining us now is the mayor of the city of Columbia, Mayor Daniel Rickaman. Mayor Rickaman, I just want to know, you've been smiling from ear to ear since I saw you come up to help lead the parade. What's running through your mind today?
It's just such a great, we didn't get to do it last year,
Right.
and we had COVID get in the way of having this great parade, and it's just such a great honor. We're such a patriotic city, and I was talking to General Kelly several weeks ago, and he said, did you know that 7 out of 10 people retiring at Fort Jackson are making Columbia their home?
That's huge.
So that tells
great.
me that, that having events like this and getting everybody involved is just, and of course the weather's perfect, we just dialed it up perfectly, but excited to talk. Riding in the car with the folks, talking about the Doolittle Raiders and, the history behind it and the attachment to Columbia and how they want to do a museum here. And the fact that they're excited to be here, and going, well, I got this parade tomorrow and I got this through the weekend. But just seeing all the people here supporting the community is great. It's just unbelievable.
It really
Mr.
is.
Mayor, yeah, you mentioned the weather. You had a top-down Willie, it looked like, that you were driving, and you were enjoying that ride for the most part.
What's that Willie landed in Normandy.
Wow.
Really?
Yes, and the general drove it around and he brought it back to the U.S. after it. and a local attorney in town got it and had it, restored. And so it's a piece of history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How special is that?
Yeah.
You talked about military veterans who retire and stay in this community, but even when families travel from all over the country to be here for graduation, when they graduate.
250,000 family
Yes.
members on average come to Columbia and spend 4 days on average with us.
I mean, you talk about the impact that has on our city and that region.
It has an impact. If you go to graduation one time, you'll leave there feeling so great. These parents not only saw their kid or young child, either son or daughter, go in one way, come out another. They're so excited. They talk about what a great community we have and how everybody is supportive. And you leave there and you feel so patriotic. You just want to go hang a flag.
I know. And we welcome all of those families to our city. They see all of the great things that our city has to offer. And a lot of them come back to make Columbia home.
We got the Drill Sergeants Academy over there. We have the head right here, putting out the drill sergeants. 60% of all the training happens right here in Columbia, South Carolina. And then you talk about our Air National Guard that is deployed all over the country. And then we got Shaw down the road. I mean, the Midlands is the military part of our state.
Yeah.
It really is.
You talk about the opportunities for veterans and the incentives for them to stay in our community. What's the city doing to make sure that, veterans know that they have a home here and a place where they can thrive and raise families?
I think two things that are really great is that, the governor and the legislature made sure that no military retirement is taxed. So that's one part. Second part for us is we want to create kind of a retirement program with the general. So they have a retirement ceremony at Fort Jackson, but we want to do something to recognize them and introduce them to the community. If it's Scout Motors, Amarok, Blue Cross Blue Shield, WIS, I heard y'all were hiring.
We are.
Whoever we can to make sure that they feel very welcome and part of this. And I think they feel that, but doing that extra mile, I think will go a long way.
Absolutely. Well, Mayor Rickman, thank you for taking a few minutes to talk with us. Enjoy the rest of the parade. What a beautiful day for our capital city. And Greg, to your point, one of the other things that they've been working to do is make sure that military spouses, when they move to this community, man, these Corvettes are revving up.
Listen.
I'm going to just let them live their best life because they are revving it up, enjoying this, and they are beautiful vehicles moving through. As a salute to our veterans today, but they're working to make it easier. One of our former producers, as a matter of fact, Brandon Wilson, is over there working with the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Yes.
And they've worked to not only highlight veterans in our community, but also to put initiatives in place so that spouses who have certain training and certifications in other areas, that it will be recognized here. Because when you come in, you might be here for 2 or 3 years, and the time it takes to ramp up to get whatever that certification is in your field of expertise, if you can just automatically have that transfer, even things like that make such a huge difference. And so those are the things that our community has worked to be able to really support military families.
Yeah, it makes for such a seamless transition, and to be a military-friendly community and to be named one of the best communities for the military, I will say that is a badge of honor. It talks a lot about the type of community that we have here in Columbia that recognizes service and sacrifice, and it's just tremendous.
The beautiful vehicles that you all see rolling through are a part of Vets Are Forever Corvette Club. They are always a crowd favorite as they come revving up for the Veterans Day Parade. We'll probably see them again at the Christmas Parade as well. But,
Certainly.
Boy, we appreciate them being here today.
Absolutely.
VFW Post 4262, the Auxiliary Past President, Theodora Montague, thank you. Charlemagne Kenzader, thank you so much. The Grand of South Carolina Mocha President. Trying to catch the names as they bribe.
Audrey Smith right here. There you go. Good to see you. Yeah, each one of those Corvettes just looking awesome. And again, perfect day for top down. Loved hearing that story from the mayor about that Willie that they're driving.
Isn't that
was
great?
on the beach in Normandy,
Yes, yes.
if you could believe that, and brought back here to the United States. Incredible.
We've got another special guest with us. Thank you all for being here today. Secretary Todd McCaffrey, retired U.S. Army General, also Secretary of South Carolina Department of Veterans Affairs. Great to see you as always. I think you're enjoying the parade as much as the kids are. I've seen you take pictures, shake hands, give hugs. What are you feeling today?
I do. You know, this whole week, and particularly Veterans Day, is the one day of the year we celebrate the service and the sacrifice of this nation's veterans. And here in South Carolina, there's 393,000 of them. I think a lot of them are out here today.
They really are. We were just talking a moment ago about what our Department of Veterans Affairs is doing to support veterans, to support military families, and there's so many initiatives that you all have had to really kind of close that gap and make sure they have every resource they need.
Yeah, this state is so blessed with its support to veterans. And we're fortunate to be able to work with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs to help veterans gain the benefits to which they're entitled. We work with nonprofits across the state to integrate the services they provide. We advocate for the military presence in South Carolina. And we also try to inform the public of what veterans do and how veterans serve and how they continue to serve their communities every day.
They certainly do. You know, you talk about almost 300,000 veterans or upwards of that. That's a tenth of the state has served in a military branch. Really is incredible to think that there's that much of a presence here in our state. Definitely, though, some challenges, though. For those who have served, what is your organization able to do to make sure that they're thriving here?
Yeah, that's a great point. So, 393,000 veterans, to be a couple of their families, it expands that footprint even further.
Yeah.
The reality is there are veterans that continue to struggle and suffer in South Carolina and elsewhere. We are fortunate to have wonderful organizations to support them. The VA does a great job supporting veterans. But we're also recognizing the fact that the vast majority of veterans are not struggling. They're actually helping veterans.
Yes.
They're contributing. They're working here in Columbia, across the state, providing economic impact and building businesses and as employees. So we're privileged to work with them. And frankly, they raise the bar for all of us.
Well, thank you for all you do and your incredible staff as well. The way they have outreach in the community is making such a difference. And I know just a couple of days ago, you all named the Veteran of the Year for our state.
Yes.
We sure did. And it just came out on social media. First Sergeant Alvin King, who runs Range for Hope, and we'll recognize him tomorrow at the Gamecock football game. It'll be fantastic. And the governor will recognize him next week on Tuesday, so we're looking forward to that.
We had him in WIS the other night to talk about the USC 5K run that's coming up on Sunday. He's going to be there as well. So we just want to thank Alvin King for all of his service, all that he does. Jared Evans over at the University of South Carolina as well. But just another example of the way our community comes together in so many ways to make a difference.
I'll tell you, Columbia it's wrapped her arms around its veterans and military community. We're so privileged to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, wow.
Isn't that awesome?
It is. And, you mentioned the Veteran of the Year.
You remember when we
Yes,
interviewed
I
Alvin
do.
the other night?
And,
Yes.
it was so, I would just say, it was amazing to see him just kind of mention it parenthetically on the side. Oh, by the way, I just won this award. Yeah, it was very typical. It was not the first thing out of his mouth. It was just kind of like we had talked to him for at least 10 minutes or whatever, talking about the 5K that they have coming up. And, and he just kind of mentioned it on the side. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've got the Sons of Solomon Motorcycle Club that's been rolling through. The Metro City Slingers are here with us today. We talked about the Vets Are Forever Corvette Club. So much happening. Wow. I'm going to let y'all take it in for a minute.
Sure. We got some slingshots
They got the
here.
music blasting and everything.
Yeah, Judy, these are known as the Metro City Slingers.
Yes.
And so slingers is a play on slingshots.
I like it. I
Yeah,
like
these
it.
these are neat.
We've got another special guest for an interview, but we'll let the revved up part of the parade pass through first so we can hear them and share that with our audience viewing us online and on WYS. While we have a moment, I just want to thank our entire crew. I can't even begin to call all of their names. Our chief photographer, Russ Condon, is out here, and I mentioned our marketing director, Charles Lynn, who's a veteran. He's even behind the camera out here working today, and so many other members of our
Chris
team
Plan, Brian
to make
Reeves,
this happen. It takes
Key
really the whole
Adams.
station has to come together to be able to bring you a live production like this. So we hope that you're enjoying it at home. We hope that You know, you're seeing some of your neighbors and friends and colleagues and veterans that you know and love and can join in honoring them today. Of course, Veterans Day is tomorrow, and a number of ceremonies happening around the Midlands to pay tribute to our veterans for their service and their sacrifice. But this is just a big event that our community looks forward to every year. And Greg, I tell you, it doesn't get old seeing everybody waving their American flag, seeing the kids light up with joy, seeing the hugs, the handshakes, the tears, all of the emotion of this event and of this day. It just represents the best of our community and what it's all about, and how important our veterans and our military families are to everything that we do in the Midlands to make this such a great place to live and to raise your families and to have a respect to really honor what it means to serve our country.
Indeed, so well said. And all of the hands on deck here that make this broadcast happen. So, you know, we're able to put this out. And of course, those who organize this parade, you got to give it up to Susan McPherson. We appreciate all the effort there just to make this an event that every single year people look forward to, because Judy, you said it, it is service and sacrifice on display, and the chance to honor that today. We have even more Corvettes, by the way. You know, we saw some earlier. Y'all are looking good, looking really good out there in the Corvettes making their way down here.
Well, as the Corvettes move through, I want to welcome in another special guest. 42 years total service, Chief Warrant Officer Alan Hinton. Happy Veterans Day to you, sir, and thank you for your service.
Well, you're most welcome.
Tell me what inspires you to serve and how you got your career started.
Well, I went into service initially as an enlisted man in the Army from 60 to 63 after I graduated from high school, and then I went to college and became an officer in the Marine Corps and spent 12 years on active duty there. Got passed over for major in 1980, taught school in St. Louis, Missouri area, taught history and government there from 1980 to 2008. And there was an Army Reserve helicopter unit, and I got on with them, and I flew with them for the two jobs. Really didn't interfere with each other until December of '90, when the reserve unit got called up, and we had to go over to kick the Iraqis out of Kuwait, Desert Storm. And you know, I came back from that and went back to my school teaching job and flew with the reserves right up till my 60th birthday, when they retired me, so I couldn't fly anymore.
Wow, but you were willing and ready, weren't you?
Well, I'm 81 years old now.
Wow.
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 Yeah, I moved here last 2 months ago. My daughter's right there as a doctor here, and you know, wants to take care of her pop.
Well,
She said, "Come on down here, and I'll."
Well, listen, we're glad to
right.
have you, and this
Well,
is a
I'm glad to be
community
here.
that appreciates our
And I'll-
veterans and everyone who has served.
And I'll tell you something that
Yeah.
from my history and time that I spent in the military, I never met a person from South Carolina that wasn't a total patriot. I served with a lot of guys that had, both in the Marine Corps and in the Army, that, you know, joined up, and every last one of them, not one of them was a jerk, you know, which I think's amazing.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Wow, 42 years of service. I have to say, you're one of the more decorated out here. Looking at all
you
of your
know,
medals.
You get a lot of those if you just happen to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. I was going to ask, though, what does it mean to you to be able to see the Vietnam veterans in particular be honored today as Grand Marshals? You began your service right during that era.
Well, I went in initially in 1960. I mean, I didn't get to Vietnam as a Marine helicopter pilot till December '69, and I served there till December '70. But you know, and I heard all those stories about people spitting on you and cursing. And all I can truthfully say is none of that ever happened to me. So I mean, you know, I always take it with a grain of salt when somebody's got some. I'll tell you a funny story from when I was teaching school, right?
Yeah.
There were these three girls that sat in the back corner of the room, great students, nice suburban school district. These three girls somehow had figured out how to have the same schedule, so they all went from my history class, the same English class, always turned their assignments in, no problems. They sat in the back corner of the room. You know, no problems, you know, about halfway through the semester, they just go totally crazy. This one day, they're jumping up and down, they're hollering and everything, and they're back in the corner of the room. So I got to go back, what the heck's going on here? You know? Well, there's this little bug crawling on the floor. And, you know, they're acting like there was a king cobra loose in the classroom or something. And I said, that's what's causing this problem? And, yeah, Mr. Hinton, Mr. Hinton. So I reach down, I pick it up, and I pop it in my mouth, and I ate it right in front of the class, right? Now, I went through the jungle survival school in the Philippines back in 1970.
Yes.
Trust me, it was not the first bug I ever ate in my life.
Wow.
Wow.
And by the end of the day, I got other teachers coming up to me after school saying, "Hey, Al, we heard you ate a big old 2.5-inch cockroach." And I says, "You know, that story gets better every time somebody tells it."
Yeah.
That's right.
don't
That's
doubt it.
right. That's incredible. You know, the parade has just been such a joy today. Everybody came out to enjoy this momentous occasion. I think it's appropriate to wrap up. We've asked all of our guests today about inspiring the next generation, whether they decide to serve in the military or not. But what words of wisdom can you share with our youth about what has helped to contribute to your success?
Well, I had a lot of good examples growing up. All you can do is set a good example. I mean, I remember in high school in the late 50s, just about every male teacher in the high school was a World War II veteran.
Wow.
So it wasn't unusual at all. And I remember my football coach, Will Sanders, born in Tennessee, was teaching there at Soldan High School in St. Louis, was the head football coach. I just asked him one time, I said,